Ah yes, it's time for another album ranking. Today we are ranking none other than the legendary heavy metal band Judas Priest. That's right, it has taken me over a year to figure out this ranking. Now, I've got a bit of a hit and miss history with Judas Priest. Now let me tell you something that I didn't really enjoy Judas Priest. Like, this band I could not get into, but there was one particular album that got me into Judas Priest. Like, majority of the fans fucking hate this album, but it was the gateway LP for me to get into Judas Priest. And last year, I really got into their music, and behold, I have listened to them over 1,000 times now. Yes, over 1,000 times. Really enjoy most of their albums. There are a few hit and miss albums for me, but you will see in the ranking what I prefer and what I don't prefer by Judas Priest. So let's get on with this mega ranking on this channel. So first of all, pop your favorite Judas Priest albums down below. Give me a ranking of the 18 albums we're going to rank right now. So let's get on with it. Coming out last is none other than Judas Priest Demolition. This was released in 2001. This was the second album with Ripper Owens. His vocals are fantastic on Iced Earth albums, and his vocals were fantastic on Jugulator. Demolition decided to channel in the heaviness. Yes, Jugulator was a pretty heavy album by Judas Priest, and we had some great guitar riffs on that, which will be mentioned later on in this ranking. But Demolition was interesting because they incorporated so many different elements which didn't work in my opinion. There are good songs like One on One, How Is Home, Jekyll and Hyde's a pretty good song, Close to You is an interesting ballad, but this album does drag few edgier moments by Judas Priest. You could say this is one of the heaviest Judas Priest albums, but in my opinion, I feel that this doesn't work one bit for this heavy metal legendary band. There are good moments, there are good guitar riffs, but in my eyes, I don't want to go back to this album. This is why it's their weakest in their discography. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 50%. It's not the worst album I've ever heard. It's not the best album I've ever heard. It's just in the middle, where there are some really good moments on this. Like, I love the guitar riff on How Is Home, and Subterfuge is a pretty fun song, with Metal Messiah as a pretty hard-hitting, energetic song, but that's it. And there are some good moments, but most of all, there are some weaker moments on this album. This is why I feel that Demolition is the weakest album. Moving on, next up is Point of Entry, which was released in 1981, and Rob Halford's vocals on this are pretty good, although I just feel like Judas Priest do change the sound on this album. With the previous album, which was British Steel, which was a hard and energetic album channeling in their classic Judas Priest sound, well, Judas Priest decided to change the sound within Point of Entry, and yeah, it's mainly rock and roll with a few heavy metal elements, but you can tell that there's different chord progression on this album, and there are good songs like Heading Out to the Highway, Hot Rockin', You Say Yes, Troubleshooter, and On the Run's a pretty fun song. It's a quite flat producing album with not many standout moments. Some of these songs are not memorable at all, and honestly, I cannot name you a song that does get stuck in my head on Point of Entry. So yeah, Halford's vocals are good, the guitar work's fantastic, the drumming is really good as well, but their style has changed on this album. Thank God Screaming for Vengeance was so much fucking better than Point of Entry. But yeah, in my opinion, Demolition, Point of Entry, get in the fucking bin. So, next up are the albums that I really do enjoy by Judas Priest, and coming up, it pains me to put this low, but it's Rocka Rolla. This is the debut album released in 1974, and yeah, you could tell that Judas Priest have channeled in the rock and roll style. It's more of a rock and roll album instead of a heavy metal album, but yeah, there are great songs like Rocka Rolla. Dying to Meet You is a very fun song. There are a few progressive moments. Run of the Mill has some incredible guitar solos, some great riff features, really enjoyable album. You can tell that Judas Priest are kind of experimenting on this LP as well, the debut album. At times they do sound like a bit of Deep Purple. Rocka Rolla by Judas Priest is a pretty solid album. Next up is Angel Retribution, which was released in 2005, and this is when Rob Halford comes back after Ripper Owens left. And overall, this is a returning sound by Judas Priest, a hell of a lot better than the fucking Turmoil album Demolition, and a lot better than Point of Entry, and a lot better than Rocka Rolla. I just feel there are some catchy songs like I'm the Deal with the Devil, along with Judas Rising, Demonizer, Hell Rider, and of course Loch Ness, which is like a 13 fucking minute song. It's fucking fantastic. I love the riffs on this. I love the use of the pinch harmonics on this song, and yeah, it's a great album overall. But I just feel that some of these songs do drag a little bit. This album does drag a little bit, and I just feel that there are other better albums. But yeah, Angel Retribution is just a really great return form. So yeah, Angel Retribution sits here. So, controversial? Killing Machine is next, or Hell Bent for Leather, whatever you want to call it. But this was released in 1978, and I'll tell you what, it's just a really good album. I feel like it's a lot better than Angel Retribution. There are more catchier songs, more great guitar solos, more interesting riffs that really do get stuck in your head, a few progressive elements, and I just love it. Songs like Burning Up, Killing Machine, Hell Bent for Leather, along with Delivering the Goods, Evil Fantasies, Before the Dawn. Some really cool songs on this album. It's great heavy metal. It is a really enjoyable heavy metal album. This is an old album by Judas Priest, but it is a fucking classic, and it pains me to put this low, but again, I feel like there are a lot better albums than Killing the Machine. When I want to hear Judas Priest, I don't go back for this album. When I think of Judas Priest, I don't think of Killing Machine, okay? I think about other great Judas Priest albums other than Killing Machine. But yeah, pretty solid album. Like I said, Judas Priest hardly have any bad albums apart from Demolition and Point of Entry. Wow, here we go. Controversial, but next up is Jugulator. And I'll tell you what, this is the most heaviest Judas Priest album they have done. Rob Halford leaves the band and Tim Ripper Owens comes in, and I'll tell you what, his vocals are so good on this. They really are. I feel Jugulator is a pretty underrated album by Judas Priest. There are some incredible songs like Dead Meat, which is so hard hitting and fast and furious, thrashy as well. Songs like Death Row, the fucking chorus is amazing. Burn in Hell, Bullet Train, and Cathedral Spires, which is like a fucking 9-minute song. It's wow, it is such a great album, this. I thought this was going to be along with Demolition, but I feel that this is such a really strong and powerful album by Judas Priest, and I fucking love it. It's free-flowing, it's coherent, amazing solos. The riffs on this are so damn heavy. Yes, this is the heaviest Judas Priest album, in my opinion. Different Judas Priest, because they got Tim Ripper Owens. His vocals are much more aggressive than Rob Halford's. You got songs like Jugulator, the self-titled track, which is so damn hard-hitting, furious, and thrashy in tone. There are just heavy metal elements, thrash metal elements, and even he incorporates a few, dare I say, growls on this. Jugulator, a very good album by Judas Priest. I thought this was going to be lower, but I gave this album another chance, and I've really enjoyed it now. Next up is Firepower, which was released in 2018. And I'll tell you what, this is a very good album by Judas Priest, and it's a bit better than the other albums I have mentioned. Like, there are some catchier songs, amazing guitar solos, interesting riffages, and slower moments. They do experiment on this. It just reminds me of times like Angel Retribution, except this is a lot better than Angel Retribution, and I just feel like this is quite a heavier album by Judas Priest. It's definitely one of the heaviest albums they've done, along with Jugulator, and Rob Halford's vocals are just absolutely fucking fantastic. His high register is incredible on this. Great songs like Lone Wolf, Firepower, Lightning Strike, Necromancer is a fun song, Children of the Sun, Flamethrower, there I go on. Just a really interesting album by Judas Priest, and yeah, I'm looking forward to their next album they're going to release, because this album is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so next up is Ram It Down. Ram It Down. It's Ram It Down, and holy shit, the fucking fist smashing the earth is such I love the album cover, I really do. Great songs like Ram It Down. Heavy Metal is such a fun song. Hard as Iron, Blood Red Skies, One of the weakest songs by Judas Priest is Johnny Be Good, which I can forgive them producing cover Johnny Be Good, but songs like Love You to Death, Monsters of Rock is such a weird song with heavy percussion, and his vocals are very different on this. This was released in 1988. This is a grower of an album. It's quite a long album as well, running about 50 minutes, but this album does pack a punch. It's more straightforward heavy metal, you could say. It's a lot different than Turbo. It's a lot different than Painkiller. This is a very unique album by Judas Priest. Just a really fun album overall. Next up is Redeem of Souls. This is just a fantastic album. This was the album after Nostradamus. This album was released in 2014, and I tell you what, this is a great LP. Songs like Dragonaut, Redeemer of Souls, Halls of Valhalla. Now, Rob Halford's vocals are fantastic on this. I love the guitar solos, I love the drumming on this, and also love the prominent bass throughout the mix. The production's a little bit muddier on this album. Like, it's not the best producing album by Judas Priest. Halls of Valhalla, even Rob Halford incorporates a few death growls on this, especially Halls of Valhalla. So damn good. Sort of the Mockleys, How I'm Back. Cold Blooded is such a beautiful ballad. It really is. Secrets of the Dead, Battle Cry, Beginning of the End. Some very memorable songs on this LP. Fucking love it. Love the artwork as well. The artwork is amazing. It does stretch over an hour. I think I want to hear an album by Judas Priest. It's Redeemer of Souls. Always go back to it. Always go back to it. But again, I feel there are other better Priest albums. Next up is Screaming for Vengeance. Amazing album overall. Halford's vocals are fantastic on this. I just love the different registers he incorporates throughout this. Songs like Electric Eye. How catchy is that song? Riding on the Wind. Pain and Pleasure. A riff on that is amazing. Screaming for Vengeance. Fever. Oh, Fever's such a fun song overall. And Devil's Child, around about 39 minutes. This was released in 1982. And I'll tell you what, this is a very different album by Judas Priest, a different sounding album by Judas Priest, but it works overall. And I really do enjoy it. And it was a little bit disappointing how Point of Entry was released after this. Love the self-titled track. Love the song You've Got Another Thing Coming. How catchy is that song? Solos are for days. Great heavy metal album. Next up is Sin After Sin. This was the third studio album by Judas Priest, released in 1977. Now, Judas Priest still have that sort of rock on this album, but they do play around with metal. Some really interesting, hard-hitting riffs. Songs like Simmer, Starbreaker, fucking Last Rose of Summer is such a beautiful ballad. I gotta say, Judas Priest have amazing ballads. They really do. A lot of emotions conveyed with Halford's vocals. Songs like Raw Deal, Here Comes the Stars, also Dissident Aggressor, amazing song, I believe. Also Slayer did a cover on this as well, through I think on South of Heaven. But yeah, Sin After Sin, a great album. It did take me a few listens to really enjoy this album. Once this album clicked for me, I really enjoy it, and I do spin this over and over again. But yeah, there are some juicy solos on this. Next up is British Steel, and I tell you what, this is such a fantastic album. It really is. It's got the classic Breaking the Law, Metal Gods, Grinder, looking for me to Grinder. Grind is a great song. Unite is such a weird and cheesy song, but it fucking works on this. Songs like You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise, The Rage, The Stealer. I tell you what, this has got most memorable songs on this. This is a very memorable, catchy album by Priest. This was released in 1980, and I'll tell you what, this is one of my favorites. This is sitting at number 7, and I fucking love it. But yeah, I feel there are other better Judas Priest albums of British Steel. A lot of people would have this at number 1, and good for you. But amazing solos, amazing drumming, and Halford's vocals are incredible. I just love the deep register he provides throughout this as well. My favorite song, probably Metal Gods. Love that song, Metal Gods. Rapid Fire is such a fun song, and Grinder is such a fun song as well. Okay, so next up is none other than Turbo, which was released in 1986, and this is fantastic. Every song is fucking memorable. Songs like Turbo Lover, I'm your Turbo Lover, so damn good. Locked In, Private Property, Parental Guidance. Out in the Cold, Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy Days. Halford's vocals, incredible. Amazing solos, amazing riffs on this. The riffs do get stuck in your head. Reckless. Wow, amazing album, Turbo. Fucking love it, really do. It is definitely one of my favorite Judas Priest albums. And I do love how Judas Priest incorporated a bit of glam metal on this. It's a very different sounding album by Judas Priest. You could dare say it's more radio friendly album by Judas Priest with less heavy prominent guitars on this. But damn, catchy fucking songs that do get stuck in your fucking head. Holy shit, fucking love it. But yeah, Turbo is sitting here. Okay, so next up is Sad Wings of Destiny. Now this took me a while to get this album, holy shit. But I tell you what, it is a fucking incredible album. Now, this was released in 1976, I believe, and a hell lot better than Rocka Rolla. Amazing songs like Victim of Changes, Dreamer, Deceiver. You got songs like Tyrant. Tyrant's such a weird Judas Priest song. Genocide. This is a great album. It really is. I love the album cover. This is one of Judas Priest's best album covers. Amazing album. Amazing sophomore album by Priest, in my opinion. A fucking classic. It really is. If you haven't heard this already, check out Sad Wings of Destiny. Well, next up is quite a controversial pick. But I can't lie to you, I'm not bowing down for the masses here. No fucking way. This is my ranking, and this is how I see Judas Priest. So if you don't like it, stick a breadstick up your ass. But anyway, this album made me love Judas Priest. And it was an album that I purposely listened to first. Before this, I wasn't really into Judas Priest. Like, I couldn't gravitate towards Halford's vocals. I couldn't gravitate towards any melodies. You all know I love rock operas. And this is one of the best rock opera albums in my opinion. This is a very different album by Judas Priest. It has incredible melodies. It's got that soundscape Judas Priest has. And it still is evident on this album. Yes, we're talking about Nostradamus. Yeah, pretty controversial opinion here, but I feel this is one of the best Judas Priest albums. Nostradamus is such a cool concept. It really is. As you all know, Nostradamus predicts the future. And this is all about Nostradamus's life. Very emotional. A lot of symphonic elements, a lot of orchestral moments, but it still holds that Judas Priest aesthetic that we all fucking love. There are a lot slower songs on this, but they really work overall. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that I hate this fucking album, because I absolutely fucking love it. It's one of my most played albums by Judas Priest, along with the next two. And there are just incredible, of course there are a few interludes, and it's a double disc, and it runs about an hour and 40 minutes, but I just can't help but love this album. This is the album, you can all thank Nostradamus here, this is the album that got me into Judas Priest. That's right, it's the album that got me into Judas Priest, and from then I just listened to all their stuff, and I fucking love most of their stuff, apart from the two albums, Demolition and Point of Entry. But overall, wow. Amazing album. Amazing concept. Vocal work is incredible on this. The guitar work is incredible. Even the drumming and even the synthesizers, orchestral elements are amazing. Songs like Prophecy, I Am Nostradamus, War, gods of war, heed the warning. I love Halford's operatic vocals on this. I just love the emotional tone he has on it, just the emotional guitar work, and it's just a great album overall. Like, this one is incredible. Got Lost, got Conquest, Persecution, Pestilence and Plague, and then Act 2, you got I'm banished and exiled. Exiled, an incredible song. The emotion, songs like Visions, Nostradamus, and to end off the album, Future of Mankind. This is an epic album by Judas Priest, and I fucking love it. I can't help but just tell you how much I love this album. I love Nostradamus. It is one of my favorite albums by Judas Priest. Anyway, before I gush, let's get on with the next ranking. Okay, so next up is Judas Priest, Painkiller. Painkiller, what an incredible album. Now, I feel this is a slightly better album than Nostradamus. Now, initially, I didn't think it was going to be better than Nostradamus. Initially, Nostradamus was going to be my top. But as I listened to Judas Priest over and over again, I couldn't help but appreciate the older work, which this was one of the first albums in the 90s. This is the album before Rob Halford left the band for the first time, and I'll tell you what, an incredible album. Songs like Painkiller, his vocals on Painkiller is incredible. It's heavy. This is a heavy album as well. Like Judas Priest 90s albums are fucking heavy. Painkiller, Hell Patrol, All Guns Blazing, The Metal Meltdown. Here comes the Metal Meltdown. Oh, so damn good. Between Hammer and the Anvil, A Touch of Evil, One Shot at Glory. Just so many great songs on this. Great fast-hitting songs. Amazing just chord progression. Amazing guitar work. Halford's vocals incredible. Released in 1990, this is just an incredible heavy metal album. Nothing much I can say. It's a classic. This is a bona fide classic album by Judas Priest. And there's no way you could have this below your top 5. No fucking way. Let's move on. Okay, next up is my favorite 70s album by Judas Priest, released in 1978. It's none other than Stained Glass. What an incredible album this is. Just amazing songs like Stand By For Exciter. So damn good. Exciter is amazing. Better By You, Better Than Me. An incredible song. Stained Glass. Invader, what an amazing song that is. Savage and Beyond the Realms of Death. I stand by to this day, and I'll stand by till I die. This is the best Judas Priest solo in Beyond the Realms of Death. An incredible solo on this. There really is. And you got Heroes End to end off the album. Amazing album. This is my second favorite Judas Priest album. I think I love it. Just an incredible LP overall. The production is just great on this. A lot better than Redeemer of Souls. Even the later albums. It's hard hitting and it's a perfect length. It goes by very quickly. You want to replay this album over and over again. Very memorable songs on this. Very memorable songs. Like I said, Beyond the Realms of Death has the best guitar solo. So next up is my favorite Judas Priest album. It's none other than Defenders of the Faith. Now this was released in 1984. And I'll tell you what, every single friggin' song is memorable. Every single song is friggin' catchy. It's an incredible album. It really is. This is the best Judas Priest album. It is amazing. The riffs, the vocals, the drumming, Free Will Burning, along with Jawbreaker. His vocals in Jawbreaker is absolutely incredible. Rock Hard, Ride Free, Rock Hard, Danny, Ride Free, all day, all night. The Sentinel, what an incredible song that is. The riff on that, the chorus is so damn catchy. Songs like Love Bites, so slow, so damn slow, and so damn sexy at the same time. Songs like Eat Me Alive, which is pretty fast and furious. Some heads are gonna roll. Dun, 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 dun. Some heads are gonna roll. Incredible song. Night Comes Down is a lot slower song. And to end off the album, you got Heavy Duty / Defenders of the Faith, which has sort of a Queen vibe, which I fucking love. Sometimes it does sound like We Will Rock You, especially the percussion. But I'll tell you what, Defenders of the Faith to end off the album with the beautiful chants, Defenders of the Faith, which sounds like it's from a live crowd. This is short. This is sweet. This is the perfect Judas Priest album. And this is why this is the best album by Judas Priest. So yeah, that's my Judas Priest ranking. I hope you did enjoy. An incredible band they are. Let me know in the comments below your favorite Judas Priest albums. Do you agree or disagree with my opinion. Keep discussion going in the comment section below. Discovery will be the next video. We will be focusing on newer releases. The next album ranking, I will be thinking of doing a black metal band. I will be putting a poll as well, and you can vote for the next black metal band album ranking. So yeah, rock hard, ride free, all day, all night, all your life. And I will see you in the next one.